Welcome to Kung Fu Cafe number 2. This is not going to be an easy video to make, so if you are soft-hearted, you need to back away from the video. Alright, 2. This video is going to piss off a lot of people who are black. So if you are black and you don't have the ability to take the things that are coming out of my mouth, this video is not for you. But it is for you to a degree. Alright, so please listen to what I have to say. You don't have to like it. It's fine if you don't. I don't blame you if you don't. But you're going to listen if you've gotten this far. 40 seconds in. Well, 45 seconds in. As a young person of color, specifically since I am mixed, I have to address this because it's coming from a personal standpoint of myself. Alright? And so I'm going to say this hurtfully but respectfully. I'm going to try to word this as peacefully as possible, as respectfully as possible. Will it be accurate from my standpoint? Yes. From everyone else, probably not. Like I said, it's going to hurt some feelings. It's going to piss some people off, and that's okay. Because it has to be said. It has to happen, and you have to understand the validity of what I'm saying. If you just watch my last 2 videos about, last 3 videos actually about indigenous erasure, you will understand this a little bit better. If you haven't, then please go watch them and then come back and watch this. And then you can get mad at me all you want. So, start at the beginning. As a young child, I had a lot of racist incidences happen to me from black people, meaning it made me resent being black. Alright? Now I'm going to explain that for everybody in the back. When you resent being black, it's not that you hate being black, it's that you have a strong dislike for being black because self-hatred is a thing taught to us from a very fucking young age, and it is generally taught to us by other black people. It's probably not taught to you by your parents, but other black people, regardless of skin tone, have taught us how to resent being black. Alright? I know what you're thinking. Are you even black? Yes, Echo Fang Grey Wolf does have blackness as well as nativeness as well as whiteness, and how you choose to see me is going to be your choice. Alright? But as a kid, when I was still using my government name of James Williams Jr., even my nickname of Jonah that I got from a comic book when I was 3 about Jonah Hex the Cowboy from DC Comics, I went through a lot of racial shit from black people, which led me to resenting being black. Now let me put that in a clarified context for you who don't understand. There was the paper bag test. There was the you're not really one of us test. And then there was the you don't have a black attitude test. Yeah, you're not really black enough for us. You have no idea how many times those words have come across the bow of my face where people have said, half-breed, half-breeds can't fight, half-breeds can't do this. This half-breed could fight. But that wasn't so much of an issue as just being called a half-breed in general. And 9 times out of 10, it was blacks and whites. But when you get to the guts and glory, I only wanted to be black. Alright? I literally only wanted to be black. Didn't know I was mixed because kids don't know that they're mixed until other kids point that shit out. Trying to word this without getting emotional. So in kindergarten, I had a crush on a girl who was half white, half Eskimo, and until this day, I still don't know if it was real. Alright? Because I'm a part of the Mandela effect. And when I went to our kindergarten pictures, she's not there. But I can remember her face clear as day. Jillian, if you exist. She's half indigenous, which she was half Alaskan, and she was half white. I do not remember her last name, but I remember her first name being Jillian. That's it. But when I went through those kindergarten pictures, she's not there. Which is why I said I don't know if it was real or not. But she also was the first person to expose me into karate. Again, I don't know if she was real or not. Irrelevant to this video. But I'm just pointing that out. When I got into the first grade, I only hung with black kids. I had white friends. I had black friends, but I tried to only hang with the black kids. Unaccepted. Because I wasn't really black. Not to them. And this is when it started. It's like, why do these black kids not like me? I couldn't figure it out because, I'm a kid. We don't see color. But then it started happening more frequently. I'm sorry, my Hello Kitty pillow is like really ragged for some reason. Hello Kitty looks like she's been beat up. Like I said, I don't tell you guys lies. 99.9. All truth. Anyway, Hello Kitty looked kind of rough. So, as I got into the second grade, I still tried to be black. Tried to hang with black kids. But in the first and second grade, I met two black girls who told me, and it stuck with me, till this day it still sticks with me, that I would never be good enough for black girls. And mind you, both these girls were probably mixed. They were high yellow like me, light bone. One of them had the same last name as me, so I knew she wasn't an option because I didn't know if we were kin or not. Because I was like, I'm not going to date this Williams girl just because her last name was Williams. And we might not be kin by blood, but we might. And so I don't want to take that chance because of all the Virginia stereotypes. Now, Miss Turner, on the other hand, she was also a red bone. Her hair wasn't like mine. It was straight, but it wasn't like mine. Yeah, it was straight by black standards. Versus not mixed standards. Because most mixed kids, we have curly hair. And I had curly hair. The only reason this hair is straight right now is because of Royal Crown hair dressing. And I don't go anywhere without it. Also, whatever the hell this shit is. So, she would tell me, James, you're not black. You're never going to be black enough. So my journey began on only dating black girls. Only dating black girls. I dated blacker girls blacker than me. And each and every one, except for one, would treat me like shit. And the one that treated me right, she moved away. The one that didn't treat me right was kin to one of my cousins on his mom's side. She wasn't kin to me at all, but she was kin to one of my cousins. And she did shit just to get on my motherfucking nerve. Letting people see her underwear. We're like the 3rd and 4th grade. Why are we doing this shit? But anyway. I tried everything I could to be black. To be accepted by black people. I went out of my fucking way. I started cussing. I started doing all the things that black kids did. Except for kung fu and street fighting, because that was something that was reserved to my family for some reason. But I could never get on the same page as black people. And you do not know how many half-breed jokes that I've been through, and then people believe it. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. You're not really one of us. You're gonna betray us to all of them. The race war began. Then no blacks and no whites really wanted anything to do with me at Burley Moran School. And then we hit the 5th grade, and I found out I was part Native. Eye-opening, because when you're a kid, you don't see the difference between your mom and dad's skin tone until someone teaches you that shit. Back in the 4th grade, white girl called me the N-word, and I punched in the mouth. And all my white friends were done being my white friends. I never told them that girl called me the N-word. They never heard it. And the only thing they heard was her screaming as I drew my left hand back full of her blood on my knuckles. I never hit another girl that wasn't kin to me. Because our girls in our family fight like us boys, so you fight like cats and dogs. Sorry. But black people was always coming at me. Except for black mixed people. But black people were always coming at me. You're not one of us. You're not one of us. You can't hang with us because you're not really one of us. You got the non-black hair. Your eyes look funny. Your cheekbones aren't. Nothing about you says black. No, nothing. No. You can pass the paper bag test. If you're super light, if you're lighter than the paper bag, you're closer to white. Yeah. We were way lighter than the paper bag, buddy. That's high yellow. I don't think I passed the paper bag test now. But back in school, oh God, the paper bag test, man. And if you were darker than the paper bag, you were closer to black. If you were in the middle, you were good and black people liked you. But if you were lighter than the paper bag test, you weren't black. And it was really bad. And I had a lot of shit go wrong because I wasn't black enough. No. My attitude changed, my life changed. I tried to be black. I would only date black girls. I had white girls that liked me, and I was like, nah, I don't want to date you because I want to date black girls. You know, hindsight, I really wish I would have just dated the white girls and didn't see color, but they changed me. I didn't want to change. They changed me because we weren't raised to really see color. We acknowledged the person's white, yeah, but you know, as far as that should have nothing to do with how you feel about the person. Yeah, they're white. Okay, big fucking shit. They're white. No problem. That's when I say we didn't see color. We knew they were white, but we didn't. We looked past the skin, you know. And I would reject white girl after white girl because I only wanted to be black. I wanted to be black so fucking bad, so fucking bad, so fucking bad. And then the more I wanted to be black, the more black people just didn't want nothing to do with me, man. And it took its toll. So by the time I was 14 and almost dying for dating this black girl down the country who is my dad's best friend's daughter, that did it. And I never dated another black girl, and ever. And I will never date another black girl. Not just because of her, but because I'm not sexually attracted to black women. There are some black women that I am sexually attracted to. But, you know, it's a fly-by-night attraction. It's not something that I can see myself with for the rest of my life, you know. Now, moving on. This made me feel some kind of way about myself. Like, really, really bad. Because even when I go down to my dad's side, and again, raised black on both sides, all of my cousins who were darker than me would like, you know, except for like maybe one or two of them. Because one wasn't darker than me, she was about the same color as me. But one or two of them, you were like, Jimmy, why you don't date black girls? And I was like, black girls don't want me. You can't make somebody want you. It's like, well, okay. Now, granted, those cousins who were black women or mixed women date black men. I love my cousins. No, it is what it is. But at that same time, I got tired of trying to find the right black woman. It just wasn't working. And the one that I thought was right, things look different down the barrel of a gun when you're on the possible end of catching a bullet. And so I stopped dating black girls, started dating white girls, started dating other girls. And I was happy with that. No, because I was free to be me. And I didn't have to try to impress people. I never ever had to impress a white girl. Never. Never really had to impress an Asian girl. But black girls I had to try to my damnedest to impress. And it just wasn't working. Sorry. Reflection there, I thought it was Charles Xavier on my TV. It's actually Jeopardy. But anyway, I got to the point of resenting black people so bad that I was like, man, why do black people not like us mixed people? And honestly, up until I met other mixed people, I thought I was by myself. But black people don't like black people, you know? And most of the time, it's got something to do with your skin tone. Again, my bro, Courtney Monroe. If he's not one of my best brothers, I don't know who is. When we filmed the movie, well, technically it was a series. When we filmed the series Guardians of the Earth, he taught me how to relax and how to accept some of the things that black culture allows. Because Courtney's a little darker than me, and people had said stuff, and I was like, no, we're not having that. And he talked me into letting it stay in the video. Sorry, Courtney, I had to bring that back up for a reason. But he taught me how important it was for that to be there. But he also taught me, because he's younger, is that there's going to be a lot of resentment in the black community. And he's faced it all because he's a darker skinned black man. And I refuse to do that said shit to darker skinned black people because I know being brown and being high yellow, I've had a little bit easier than them. So I don't go around screaming that at people. And he's like, no, you need to leave it in there. It stays. They took a vote on it. They outvoted me. And even though it was my project, they outvoted on me. So they won. But I still felt bad about it. But once we had a talk, I was like, okay, okay. But see, it took me back to a place where my blackness was taken from me by black people. Because black people made me resent being black. Like, yeah, I'll say it. There was a time when I prayed that I would get a little darker just so that black people would actually fucking like me. And they didn't. And I didn't get any darker other than my arms. Because I'm still, my true color's right here. Like high yellow. But my arms browned out because I don't wear long sleeve shirts unless it's fucking ice cold out here. And it hurt me so bad that black people would not accept me. And black people made me mad and mad and mad. It's like, you're never going to be one of us. You're never going to be one of us. You're never going to be one of us. So when I stopped trying to be one of them and started being myself is when I started getting more flack from black people. So by the time I got to high school, I had seen enough, you know. So when my bros in the film said what they said to Courtney, who was also my bro in the film, and he became more my brother in real life, just like my bros in films. They are my brothers in real life. They're just not my biological brothers, but I will move heaven and earth for them. And fucking all three of them were in agreement. And I just wasn't because of the shit I've been through as a younger person. Then they were younger than me. They were barely 20 years old. And here I was 35, 36 years old making this film with them. And they had to pull me back out because I fell into this deep hole of I refused to treat black people the way I was treated by black people. But a lot of black people made me resent being black. A lot of black people to this day still don't think that I'm part black. So it's like, okay. And you learn how to swallow those things, and you learn how to push them down, or you push them to the side, and you compartmentalize them, and you figure it out. And there's been a couple of jobs where I would mark black on my application, and black people were like, "Are you sure you're black?" And I'm like, "I know what fucking color I am, you know." And it's like, "Well, you don't really look black," and it's like, "I'm not full black, but I know that I'm black." And I've had to fight for my blackness forever. And it made me resent being black because I got tired of trying to prove the shit, you know. And then when people were like, well, you know, you don't look black. You ain't really one of us. It's like, okay, I'm still part black. It's like, no, you're not. You're really not one of us. And it just throws me all the way back to that kid in grade school who went through this shit from the 3rd grade to the 5th grade, and then finding out I was part Native. It only got worse because then they have, now they can do that. And now they can call me Chief. Because a lot of people, when we were in school, we didn't really learn about Native American history to the 5th grade, and that was only 2 weeks during Black History Month. So yeah. And then there was the carving of the canoes. So yeah. That's how I learned I was Native. I know y'all see the arrows. Now, we got that part out of the way. So now let's get to the guts and glory of this video. A fuck ton of black people resent being black. And they probably have had similar experiences. They probably have taken it on the chin from other black people who have told them you're not black enough, or you're closer to white than black because of your skin tone and the paper bag test, and you don't act black enough, you don't cuss enough, you don't swear, you don't dance, you don't gangbang, you don't do the shit that normal black people do. Well, the normal people who do that are black are generally the black people who come from the poor environments, the poor ghettos, and they didn't really have much of a say or a choice in the matter, so that's how they act. But black people who come from like suburbia or places where they are accepted and they don't have to go gangbanging and shit like that, they don't act like that. And a lot of black people just want to fucking be left the fuck alone and live their lives peacefully, happily, without a lot of bullshit going on, which is almost impossible, but hey, it is what it is. And then, you know, you get to the point where you're like, just let me make it through the day without an incident. And then people talk about black on black crime or proximity crime or whatever the hell you want to call it. And then you talk about how black people don't like black people. Let's do the Shemar Moore versus Wesley Snipes. Now Shemar Moore's probably my age, a little older, a little younger. We can find out right now. How old is actor Shamar Moore? How old is he, yo? Okay, he's 52. So he was born in 1970. Much love to you, Shamar. I need to use you as an example, sir. And if you can get me some work on one of those shows, that would be great. How old is actor Wesley Snipes? Wesley Snipes is 60 years old. Okay. Guess we can give you an image of Wesley Snipes. All right. Can I get a side-by-side of Shamar Moore and Wesley Snipes pictures? Okay. That ain't gonna work. Can you give me a split screen picture of Shamar Moore and Wesley Snipes? I hate technology, y'all. They do not. That's Michael B. Jordan and Will Smith. And that's Wesley Snipes, but there's no side by side. Let's try a different approach. Can I get a split screen of one black actor that is dark skinned and one black actor that is light skinned? Oh, for the love of God. I fucking hate technology. I give up, yo. I'm sorry. But anyway, I can't do it because I'm stupid. But you get the damn gist, you know. Shamar Moore is light skinned, so people are going to look at him a little different than how they're going to look at Wesley Snipes. All right, and it usually is because of skin tone. So a lot of people would not want to see Wesley Snipes succeed as well as he's done if they were black, because he's proof that black people have a place and that they could succeed even if you're dark. Where a lot of people would not have a problem with Shamar Moore moving from TV star to big screen action star, which he should have already done. But as long as he's happy where he's at, that's cool with me too. But if you get a picture and you have The Rock, you have Shamar Moore, and you have Wesley Snipes. All right, The Rock, he's eliminated because he's also part indigenous Samoan. All right, so now you have Shamar Moore and you have Wesley Snipes. Now, if they wanted to make a movie about John Henry, they would probably pick Wesley Snipes because he's darker versus Shamar Moore, because The Rock living proof that he tried to do that, but because he's not black all the way, he's not dark enough, they decided that, no, we're not going to let we're not going to let The Rock play John Henry because he's not black enough. All right? I get it. But that's the resentment and the prejudice. Where, all right, how many other dark actors do you know that are super famous, like Wesley Snipes, outside of soap operas and, like, certain TV things? Because Tyler Perry is not much darker than me. Yeah, so he's not that much darker than me. Where Wesley Snipes is, like, 4 or 5 times darker than me. And a lot of people don't want to see the darker actor succeed. They don't want to see the darker actor play the hero. But Wesley stamped that shit right out the butt when he started playing Blade. But he was well on stamping that out of the bus with Money Train and the fuck's the other one? Passenger 57. So when he started doing that, before Blade came along, and he's Passenger 57, Bet on Black, and all kinds of other stuff, people started to see darker black skinned people can be the fucking hero. And thank you, Wesley. I'm sorry I had to use you and Shamar Moore as, like, demographic wise, but this is to prove the resentment of black people towards black people and how I resented being black. And sometimes I still resent being black. I'm never going to get completely over it. I have to accept that I have this as an issue, and I will have this as an issue until the day I pass. But the problem is that a lot of us people of color, specifically black people, just don't like being black, And that's a problem that a lot of us aren't willing to accept and aren't willing to change and aren't willing to bend over backwards to change the diaspora and make it better for all people of the color scale in blackness. You know? And then there's the acceptance thing, because a lot of people just don't want to accept anybody. And the same thing with mixed people. And same thing with like Tiger Woods. And you know, black people were in awe of Tiger Woods because he was half black and half Thai. And they were in awe of him and they were praising him, and they still praise him to this day. Same thing can be said with The Rock. Same thing can be said with Wesley Snipes. Same thing can be said with Shamar Moore. And I just want to be on that list at some point, at some time before I die. But the point being made is that a lot of black people resent being black. And it is self-taught, either at home or by society, but it is self-taught. For me, it was society, because black people continued to tell me that I'm not one of them, that I wasn't worthy of being black. And then the fact that there's no representation of people like me, so that black people can have some sense of, oh, so that's how your life is. Versus, oh, we live in the hood, motherfucker. Yeah, motherfucker. I'm gonna stab you, motherfucker. I hate you. I'm gonna take all you got. Give me your motherfucking shoes, bitch. You know, that's what we at representation. We don't have the classical person who's mixed and like, yeah, I can walk in both worlds. I can speak hood and I can speak normal and I can, adapt. And we don't have people like that being represented. You know, and I can't really speak any native tongues because we weren't taught that shit. But this is about me and black people resenting being black. Where you can turn around today and you can have a beautiful black woman smile in your face and have a black man ready to punch you in the face. You know? Or you can have a dark-skinned black woman ready to punch you in the face, where a light-skinned or a brown-skinned black man ready to high-five you. And a dark-skinned black man will be like, man, this fucking half-breed, I don't want to fucking deal with this son of a bitch. And then you have other black men who were on the opposite track. Yo, what's up, brother? And they all see us as one. But now you see the confusion and the clusterfuck, because there are a lot of more black people who don't like being black. And so they will either try to concede and get closer to Africa. Some people have actually moved back to Africa. And then there's things that I've gone through when we've had to go back to Africa movement. So it was in high school once, and they had to go back to Africa movement, and they had some exchange students over here, and the exchange students told me that I would die if I ever went back to Africa. And I told them that's good, because I have no plans on ever going to Africa, because I'm part native and my home is right here. And I would much rather suffer here than suffer there. And it's like, yeah, they straight told me that I would die if I go back to Africa. And it's like, well, I'm not all the way African. It's like, you're right. You won't survive with us. Yet the guy still had curly hair like mine, but he was fully on African. So it kind of fucked me up a little bit. But worse than that, the high school thing that we had, everybody was talking about some going back to Africa. We're going back to Africa. And then before I could even muster that shit to come out my mouth, someone would go, James, you ain't going back to Africa. You ain't even all the way black. So yeah, this is how I resented being black. Because every time I turned around, black people were telling me, you're not good enough. You're not black enough. You will never be one of us. So when I stopped and embraced all of my heritages and just started acknowledging the fact that I'm multicultural, I didn't pay attention to that shit anymore. But most of my shit was coming from black people. And unfortunately, it came more from women than men. Because I'd be like, yo, I'm going to talk to this black girl. Go talk to this black girl. Black girl's like, gag face. We don't want nothing to do with you. You're not really one of us. You're just, ew. You're gross, ew. And that destroys people. It really does destroy people. It destroyed me. Because, like, when you get to the point where black girls just stop liking you and don't want nothing to do with you, and you're not cute to them, you were never cute to them, and it eats you up. And then when you start dating that white girl, now they're mad again. Who gave you the audacity to date this white broad? What is wrong with you? And the first thing come out your mouth was, well, bitch, you wouldn't date me, so what the fuck I'm supposed to do? Wait for you to change your mind? Wait till you then been with everybody and then you decide, oh, now I'm the right guy for you. That's been a thing. And I'm sorry. It's the same thing when it comes down to teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy does not have an ethnicity or gender. It just has stupidity because somebody didn't pay attention and they were growing too goddamn fast for their own britches, and boom, now you bring a life into this world. Well, when I was younger, most of the girls that I wanted to have dates with already had babies by somebody else. And I wasn't going to be an already made family. That wasn't my shtick because I've had to bring up my siblings. And I'll be damned if I hadn't had to watch my siblings' kids grow up too. And it's just not for me. I want a woman who does not have children. I've dated women with children. It is not a fun time because you're always going to be on the back burner. You have to accept that. Until you marry that woman, and even after you marry that woman, her kids are her top priority. And they will be your top priority too when you marry her because they're going to be your kids. Now, they might not be biologically kin to you, but they are going to be your top priority because you're going to love them as much as you love the woman. Now, I know that was irrelevant. But the point being made is that I have been told 1,000 times or better, I'm never going to be black enough. Never going to be good enough. And mostly I've been told by black people. Men and women, mostly women. And you get to the point where you're like, okay, I got two choices. I can live and wait until I'm 90 years old to find the right black woman, or I can move to the women who actually give me the time of fucking day, which is what I did. And I've gotten a lot of backlash for it, not just from black women in different communities, but my own family. Why don't you date a black girl? I said, why should I have to? Because I have to please you? No. I refuse to date somebody to make you happy. I'm dating to make me happy. Travel Channel. Excuse me. I'm going to have to end this quickly because my stomach is starting to hurt and I think I need to go cook something to eat. Or I'm going to kill over and die. One of the two. But the point being made is, there's a lot of black people that just straight up resent black people. There's a lot of black people who resent being black. And they don't know how to express it other than taking it out on other black people, which in turn makes us resent being black. And this cycle never ends. It just goes on and on and on until one day it implodes, and then everybody who's black just don't want to be black. So now that leads to indigenous erasure. It leads to other things, and the more that we don't address the situation, the more we have these problems. And then you gotta look at representation on TV and films and shit. And there's just never enough black people being black enough. There's always somebody else that's the antagonist, and sadly that person has to be black. And if that person is black, it's not a light-skinned black playing the bad guy. It's a dark-skinned black playing the bad guy, which fuels more people being angry that they are black, and then not being able to handle the fact that it's a movie. But now they are taught that all dark-skinned blacks are bad and all light-skinned blacks are good, and the people in the middle just flow through. And this is how this leads to black people resent being black. And then when you see black people getting pulled over by the cops, it's the same shit. They generally profile the darker your skin tone, the more they pull you over. Where the lighter your skin tone, they pretty much leave you alone. Now, I can't say that for me because I've been pulled over because I had longer hair than this little ponytail right here. Once a cop thought I was a chick. I don't see how, because there's no body there and there's just a stick, But it has happened. I didn't have to pay that ticket because that guy was only pulling over women of color. Which somehow or another, even though I shaved today, I had like the 3-day Don Johnson scruff. I don't know how he couldn't see that I wasn't a woman, but he pulled me over after letting me go 3 blocks. And then he pulled me the fuck over. So, now it wasn't 3 full blocks, but it was 3 blocks legally because there's a stoplight and there was a block before you get to the next stoplight. And then there was a block before you get to the stop sign where the Sacagawea statue used to be. So that's 2. But I supposedly ran through the yellow light at the very first block. And I stopped at that second block because the light was red. He had already came out, but he didn't cut his lights on. After I got to the other block, before I got to the Sacagawea sign, he cut the lights on. So then I pulled around that block and got into the fire station's parking lot where he said, "Excuse me, miss." And I was like, "I'm a man." So, like I said, but this thing happened to like 5 other women of color mostly Hispanic and black women, and that's why I didn't have to pay for it, because the judge made me testify that he thought I was a black woman or a woman of color. But like I said, when you have representation and all the light-skinned blacks are the heroes and all the dark-skinned blacks are the villains, it makes black people resent being black, and then these black people grow up because you can't change your skin. I mean, if you got the money, you probably can, because bleaching is a thing, but I'm not doing that shit. But secondly, the fact that, these things that keep happening in the black community make black people hate being black more and more and more. Black resentment also is one of the leading causes of teen suicide, because somebody went to school and somebody else who was black decided they want to pick on the kid because he was darker. So the next damn thing you know, the kid unalived himself because he couldn't take the shit anymore. He didn't have a positive life. He wasn't being treated right, and people just kept rubbing that shit in. So of course it's going to lead to black resentment, which is going to lead to him unaliving himself. And these things happen all the fucking time, because we don't have fair representation. We don't make the darker skinned people heroes. We don't make the lighter skinned people villains. We don't do the logic and the reality of the world in which we live in, which is what causes problems in the first fucking place. But if you don't address it, it's always going to be a problem. That being said, I am Echo Fangirl Wolf. Thank you guys for watching. Be seeing you. This is Kung Fu Havoc number 2. Hope I taught you something.